My wife stepped out of her car and froze. Two fake HOA cops were already closing in, batons drawn, circling her like she was prey, and they didn't know her right hand was behind her back gripping a concealed pistol. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story travels. But to understand how it got this far, you need the backstory. 3 days earlier, my wife, Sergeant Leah Morgan, U.S. Army retired, had confronted our HOA president, Madeline Crane, a woman who ran the neighborhood like a dictator with a clipboard. Madeline loved power like it was oxygen, and she hated anyone who didn't bow to her authority. And Leah? Leah bows to no one. At the HOA meeting, Madeline tried to introduce a new rule. Residents must submit to random compliance checks by HOA safety officers. Everyone else stayed quiet. Leah didn't. She stood, looked Madeline dead in the eye, and said, "Show me the law that gives you the right to inspect private citizens." Madeline's smile cracked. She shuffled papers, cleared her throat, dodged the question. Because there was no law. There was no authorization, just her ego mixed with two unstable men wearing cheap tactical vests who she called her HOO enforcement team. When Leah called her out publicly, Madeline's face twisted in humiliation. You could practically see the rage simmering behind her teeth. And humiliated people with fake power, they always come back swinging. So when Leah left work early that Thursday, sun still bright, traffic light, she didn't expect trouble. But trouble was expecting her. She pulled over beside the community mail kiosk, planning to check the mailbox. Kids were riding scooters. A couple walked their dog. Just another quiet suburban day. Until it wasn't. From behind the storage shed, they stepped out. Mark and Jensen, Madeline's HOA cops. Black vests, baton tubes in hand, fake badges clipped crookedly to their chests. "Afternoon," Mark said, swagger dripping off him. "We need to talk about your behavior at the HOA meeting." Leah didn't move, didn't blink. Her left hand stayed loose at her side. Her right hand stayed resting behind her back, fingers curled around her concealed pistol. Jensen clicked his baton open, a deliberate threat. "Madeline didn't like how you embarrassed her," he said. "She wants an apology." Leah tilted her head, calm and cold. "You two need to step back," she warned. "You're trespassing on my space and threatening me." They grinned. Predators always grin before they do something stupid. "We're authorized," Mark lied, stepping closer. "This is a compliance issue." "Then show me the paperwork," Leah said. He didn't have any. He raised his hands like he was surrendering. All right, let's calm down." But Leah saw it. The shift in his shoulders, the tightening of his grip, the baton rising just an inch too high. He wasn't calming down. He was about to swing. And the moment he committed to violence, my wife responded with something he never expected. Training, precision, and a bullet made of consequences. Mark moved first, exploding forward with exactly the kind of sloppy aggression that gets men hospitalized. His baton came up in a fast arc meant to crack her across the temple. He never got the chance. Because the moment his shoulder twitched, Leah's stance shifted, smooth, instinctive, lethal in its calm. Her right hand came forward, clearing her shirt in one practice sweep. Her Glock was out before his baton even reached the halfway point. One clean motion, no hesitation, no warning. She fired. The shot tore through Mark's thigh, dropping him instantly. His baton clattered across the pavement as he screamed and buckled sideways, shock spreading across his face like wildfire. Kids screamed. A scooter fell. A dog barked somewhere. But Leah, she didn't move an inch. Her muzzle stayed trained on him while her peripheral vision tracked Jensen, the second fake cop whose bravado dissolved the moment his friend hit the ground. He froze, hands lifted, voice cracking. "Wait, I give up! I give up!" But Leah didn't buy it. She'd seen that stance before, the fake submission, the twitch of adrenaline, the eyes searching for opportunity. "Don't move," she warned, voice low and level. He nodded like he understood, then lunged. A stupid, desperate forward burst, like he thought speed could outrun bullets. It couldn't. But Leah didn't even need to fire. She holstered mid-motion, turned sideways, and as Jensen closed in, she stepped into him, redirecting his momentum with expert precision. She caught his wrist, twisted, and drove her elbow sharply into his sternum. The crack echoed. He choked, air leaving his lungs like a collapsed bag. He tried to swing with his free arm. She ducked, grabbed the back of his vest, and used his own weight to slam him to the asphalt. His head hit first, then his body, then his dignity. He groaned, tried to push up, but Leah wasn't done. She planted her knee between his shoulder blades, grabbed his arm, and twisted until his body locked under her control. The tendon in his elbow strained, and he howled. "Stop! Stop! I give up!" he sobbed. "You should have thought about that earlier," she said, tightening her grip. Mark was still on the ground, clutching his bleeding leg, kicking gravel in panic. "You're crazy!" he yelled. "You shot me! You attacked me with a weapon," she snapped. Be grateful you can still scream. A couple of neighbors peeked from behind cars. One old lady filmed everything with shaky hands. A teenager whispered, "Holy crap, she's like John Wick's wife." But Leah stayed focused. She disarmed Jensen, kicked his baton away, pinned him until he stopped resisting. Her breathing didn't even spike. Then she pulled out her phone, still holding Jensen down with one arm, and called. 911. "This is Leah Morgan," she said steadily. "I've got two men impersonating law enforcement. One shot in the leg after a lethal threat, the other restrained after attempted assault. Send units and medical." As sirens began to wail in the distance, Jensen whimpered beneath her. "Why'd you do all this?" she demanded. Through gritted teeth, he answered, "Madeline. She told us to. She said if we didn't, we'd lose our homes, our jobs, everything. She wanted to teach you a lesson." Leah looked down at him, expression unreadable. "Oh," she said quietly, "she learned the wrong lesson today." If you're enjoying this HOA story so far, like and subscribe because the story's only going to get better. The sirens grew louder, echoing through the street until two county patrol cars slid to a stop. Real officers spilled out, hands on holsters, but the moment they saw the scene, everything slowed. One fake cop bleeding on the sidewalk, one pinned under my wife's knee, crying for his mother, two batons on the ground, a holstered Glock sitting safely at my wife's hip, and half the neighborhood watching like it was a live-action justice show. Deputy Harris, a man built like a refrigerator with a badge, approached cautiously. "Ma'am, we got a call about two impersonators attacking me," Leah finished. "One attempted to strike me with a baton. The other charged when I ordered him to surrender. I fired one shot in self-defense. Everything is recorded." She pointed to the family across the street, already holding up their phones like reporters. Harris blinked. "Well, that makes this easier." Paramedics rushed to Mark, applying pressure to his leg wound. He screamed dramatically, like a man auditioning for a low-budget movie. "She shot me! That crazy woman shot me!" The medic deadpanned, "And you're lucky it wasn't center mass." Meanwhile, Jensen whimpered under Leah's knee. "Please get her off me," he begged the deputies. "She's gonna break my arm." Harris raised a brow. "Buddy, she barely looks winded." Once they cuffed both men, Mark on a stretcher, Jensen still blinking tears, Sergeant Whitaker arrived. Older, calm, the kind of cop who carries years of patience in his shoulders. He listened as Leah explained everything from start to finish. When the medics wheeled Mark past him, he leaned in. "You impersonate an officer," he said. "You get charged like one. Congratulations. That's a felony." Mark swallowed hard. "An assault with a deadly weapon on a woman," the sergeant added. "That's another. Hope your HOA president visits you in prison." That got their attention. Both men looked at each other, terrified, and then at Whitaker. "It was Madeline," Jensen blurted. "She made us do it. She said we had to control the street and shut down dissent." Whitaker exhaled slowly. "There it is." He turned to Leah. "We've had complaints about Madeline Avery for months, intimidation, bogus fines, threatening letters, but no one had hard proof." Leah thumbed toward Mark and Jensen. "Pretty sure those two count." Whitaker nodded. "And your recordings definitely do." But things escalated fast, because while officers processed the scene, a sleek silver BMW rolled suddenly into the cul-de-sac. Madeline Avery stepped out. The smile vanished when she saw her two officers cuffed on the ground. "What is happening here?" she demanded. "I sent them to conduct compliance." Whitaker cut her off. "No, ma'am, you sent them to commit felonies." He snapped his fingers, and Deputy Harris handed him Mark's and Jensen's confiscated phones. "Screenshots," he informed her. "Threats. Orders to use force. You instructed untrained men to confront homeowners with weapons. That's conspiracy to commit assault." Madeline's face drained of its expensive makeup color. "You can't prove any of that." Leah smiled. "Slow, sharp, devastating. Check your email drafts." Madeline froze. Whitaker's radio crackled. "Unit 12, search warrant secured for Avery residence and HOA office." His grin was small but lethal. "Never brag about crimes in writing," he said. "Makes court too easy." Within minutes, Madeline was in cuffs, sputtering about lawyers and influence and neighborhood safety protocols. The officers weren't listening. Neither was my wife. She walked up to Madeline, calm and unblinking. "You sent men to attack me," Leah said quietly, "with weapons in broad daylight. Next time you pick a target, make sure she isn't trained to fight back." Madeline looked away first. That's how bullies lose. Hours later, when the officers finally cleared the scene, a few neighbors approached, whispering thank yous, praise, and disbelief. Leah didn't brag. She didn't smile. She just took my hand as we walked inside. Safe, alive, strong as ever. The following week, HOA President Madeline Avery was charged with ordering the attack, impersonation, and harassment. She got 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Mark, the one shot in the leg, was charged with assault with a weapon and impersonating an officer. He got 2 years in jail after spending 4 months in the hospital. Jensen, the one my wife took down, was charged with attempted assault and impersonation. He received 12 months in jail and probation. And that's how two fake cops and one corrupt HOA president learned what real consequences look like. The end.